Hello, everybody. So the more sharp-eyed among you may notice that I'm using KDE as a desktop here, which I'm usually a sort of a GNOME guy. This is actually Fedora 44, and it's the beta version. And so far, it's been running pretty well. I've had it up installed in here for a little over a day, and it's been pretty good. I've installed a few apps on it, including email and so on. And no big issues so far. I would say my favorite desktop currently is probably GNOME. I'm not really a keyboard shortcut guy, so I kind of tend to stay away from things like Hyperland and i3 and that kind of stuff. I would say it's probably GNOME first, KDE second, macOS third, and that's, kind of tied in with Apple. You can't really get away from macOS on Apple hardware. And then Windows, again, tied into, Microsoft. But Microsoft has, I guess, had a come to Jesus moment where they've realized that they've got fat and sassy and Windows is really kind of crappy now. And they posted some stuff as reported in Windows Central here. Microsoft unveils major improvements coming to Windows 11 this year. Uh-huh. Right. I think we've heard that before. I'd like to think this time it's maybe a little bit more for real, in that they've kind of gotten the wind up a little bit because of things like the very vocal wailing and gnashing of teeth of users who are getting kind of fed up with Windows 11. The AI stuff and the broken updates and things like that, especially in the last few months, it seems to have gotten worse rather than better. But talking here about after feeling the heat from Mac OS and Linux, Mac OS would be probably the new little MacBook Neo, which is probably going to steal some users away from Windows machines. But so Microsoft has confirmed it's working on multiple major updates to Windows 11 that will address users' biggest complaints with the platform of the last 2 years. Everything from general system performance and reliability to the ability to move the taskbar and reduce ads will be addressed this year. That's supposedly what they're going to do. If they do, then, more power to them. That's great. I don't want to see Windows fail necessarily. I used Windows all my life. When I've been using computers from, Windows 3.1 to 98 to, Millennium even. Oddly enough, Millennium wasn't bad for me. I know it's got a reputation has been just horrible, but it wasn't too bad when I used it. I used it for probably about 6 months or so, I think, back in the day. And it was fine. Anyway, I digress. So this is from Pavan Davuluri, who's the EVP of Windows and Devices at Microsoft. He says, "We're focusing on making Windows 11 more responsive and consistent so performance feels smooth and reliable." I hate that word. I should say, I have come to hate that word, smooth, as far as Windows. Every time they talk about updates and things, it'll say, make your computer run more smoothly. And it almost never does. Anyway, again, Pavlovian response on my part. I apologize. Over the course of the year, we're improving system performance, app responsiveness, File Explorer, and the Windows subsystem for Linux, helping Windows stay fast as you move between apps and workloads. Like I say, we've heard this before. I think Microsoft got very complacent with their position as from being, locked into new computer purchases. And they just, I think they kind of got to the point where they didn't care. I don't know that individual Microsoft engineers didn't care, but the management, I guess, sort of didn't care. I mean, how else would you explain the mess that is Windows 11 right now? And I know there's many people out there, myself included, who haven't had a lot of problems with Windows 11 as far as it breaking. But if you get, 1% of people having issues after an update, that's a lot of people. I mean, that's millions of people. So, there are problems. Microsoft is acknowledging them now, but they need to be addressed. We'll see if they do, in fact. I mean, I just basically like to see three things, probably. AI being pulled out of a lot of stuff where it's absolutely not needed, like Notepad. Come on now. Things like bloat, and by that I mean both code bloat and bloat in the operating system when they throw in all these little stupid programs and promotions and things. Get that out of there. And then the other thing would be just the general reliability. By reducing code bloat, I think you're probably going to make things work better. You reduce the number of interactions or programs and things that just make it work better. It'll be faster, more responsive, and just better all around. So we'll see. I don't hold a lot of, faith in what they're saying, but by gosh, if they don't do anything this time, man, they're really going to have people jumping the gun over the Mac or maybe even Linux. But yeah, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess, one more time, and we'll see, what happens by the end of the year. If there aren't significant improvements, we can only hope, I guess. So that's another video in the can. If you found this informative or interesting, please consider liking and subscribing down below. And remember, be excellent to each other.